I want to talk about contacting your mentor. It's very important that you have some contact with your mentor on a regular basis throughout the term. This will help build your relationship with your mentor. It'll also help you feel comfortable so that you can ask him or her questions about the assignment, and you can brainstorm with them. If you want ideas as to how to maybe write a project or to do a speech assignment or to think in more robust ways or different ways about a movie. These are all things that you can discuss with the mentor. So when you have a contact event or moment, when contact happens, um, don't just expect the mentor to have all these questions for you. They might, and they will have some questions, but this is also a conversation that you can initiate uh, as well. You can uh, text or email, and especially during the contact points that you two have set up, you can come to those meetings or those contact events with questions and thoughts that you want to use as conversation starters. So remember, one of our big goals here in this program is to make you better communicators, and that's part of that is to realize when it comes to conversation, how can I facilitate the conversation? This is what you should be thinking. How can I help this be a good thing? How can I come prepared to a conversation? And it doesn't have to be as complicated as maybe I'm making it sound, because we're all really pretty good at this when we're conversing with people we like, or we are comfortable with the topic, or we're invested in the topic. So it's just a matter of thinking about interesting things or questions that you can have ready in your mind to offer as to offer up as points around which the conversation can grow. So contact is very important, and when it comes to contact, it needs to be scheduled contact. That's the type that we're actually looking for and tracking to make sure it happens. There's a minimum amount that you have to converse, that you have to have with your mentor as far as contact goes, and because of that, it goes hand in hand with scheduling. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the contact requirements, but then I'm also going to talk about your strategies for scheduling them in a calendar of some sort and of learning how to use that calendar. All right. So right away, you should check your manual for the term, and right where it says late work attendance, that section, you're going to see that we do talk about you having to contact your mentor. All right. So when it comes to when it comes to attendance, really the only way we're going to see this is when you submit the progress reports that are due at the end of every week for the first 4 weeks. We also see attendance when we set up times to talk with you, and you show up at those times, and we have a text conversation or a video call, a streaming conversation, a phone call. If there's a local situation going, this is a face-to-face, an in-person conversation, that's going to count as well. Many students will be doing this at distance, so they're not going to have the in-person conversation, but there'll be areas or sections of this that will have an on-the-ground mentor, and so those meetings need to be scheduled and met and participated in. So your manual will show you in the section that says attendance and late work. It'll show you what sort of contact requirements you need to meet for attendance for that term. And then you need to take that and you need to reach out to your mentor, or they'll reach out to you one way or the other. You need to start setting up schedules, an appointment time, so that you can know that you're going to text that person during that day, or that you have received an email and you need to respond to that email. All right. So here's our hope, that you develop strategies of strong communication, where you know that you need to talk with your mentor once for 20 minutes over the next 2 weeks. Let's just take that as an example. If your mentor doesn't reach out to you in 10 days, in a week and a half, then you reach out to them. They might have gotten a little too busy, they might have forgotten, but you are demonstrating your ability to control the conversation event. When you say, I know that's what the manual says, we need to have a 20-minute phone call or conversation, a video call, whatever, once every 2 weeks, 3 times a term. If this hasn't been set up and it's getting close to the end of the second week, you reach out. That can do nothing but demonstrate your awareness of the situation and your ability to take control. Now, the mentors are not going to be testing you this way, but some mentors are going to get too busy and they will forget. So you take the initiative and reach out, and that is exactly the type of mindset we want to be developing in you. The other thing that you'll need to do is when the mentor contacts you and says, "Hey, let's have a phone call." They might text you and say, "Let's have a phone call in 2 days at this time. Is this okay?" As soon as you see that, take 5 minutes just to handle that. Don't let the text disappear in the text stream if you can, and disappear under the screen of your phone, because then you might forget and you will fail at being a strong facilitator for the conversation. So when you see that text coming in asking to schedule for something, or perhaps it's an email, respond as soon as you can to that. Now, in general, the rule of thumb is for texts, you should respond within 12 hours, because the idea is the phone is more or less always with you, or often with you, and once you see that, we want you to deal with it sooner than later. So try to respond to texts within the first 12 hours. You definitely shouldn't let it go more than one full day, more than 24. But your personal habit, your personal goal should be within the 12 hours, I'm going to respond to this text, if not sooner. Because it's really not hard to respond to a text. Your mentors and you, we all understand that the texting situation or messaging situation, say on WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever device we might be using, whatever messaging platform, that is not really the arena for perfect spelling, for perfect, sure, you can use abbreviations, you can do whatever you can within reason, all right? But you don't have to have those texts be perfectly typed out. We understand that that's sort of a very strange and wonderful arena where the texts are mimicking speech, and we're using shortcuts because of the way we want to type in those texts. So let's not worry about that there. Emails, on the other hand, if an email comes in and is asking for you to set up a meeting for a phone call or a video call with the mentor, let's just go ahead and run with the idea that every email that you send out in the program needs to be written correctly, needs to be respectful, and as much as possible spelled correctly, typed out nicely, so that if they were to be printed out and shown as sort of a reflection of your communication habits, you could be very proud of their professionalism. Let's be professional in the email. Texting, not so much, all right? But if emails come in and you have to respond back out, you should respond within 24 hours, all right? Emails within 24 hours, definitely within 2 days. That's a little too long, but that's probably still the acceptable limit. Really should be within a day, within 24 hours. Texting is half of that. The text comes in, try to respond within 12 hours. Do not let it go 24. Texting, you could be much looser and freer with your grammar and spelling. Let's keep emails professional. But you'll use those to set up a time to call. And as soon as you have a schedule set up for a video call or a phone call, put that in your calendar, which we need to discuss this quickly. What type of calendar do you have? What type are you going to use? You have to decide, and you have to make it work for you. We're all different, all right? For me, the very best method has been to have my calendar, a good strong calendar app in my phone, and to have the icon that opens it up on the home screen, the first page, and the first screen. And my personal goal and my habit is to open that calendar up before noon on every day. Really, it should be right after breakfast. That's when I try to do it. And then I just look at what's there for the day. I'll look at the next day to try to remind me, and then I put it away. But right when I have my phone and we set up appointments, I put the appointment in my calendar right away. I don't try to set alarms. I don't, I try to make it as easy as I can. I just put the thing in there, And then my way of dealing with, being aware of it is not to have alarms going off and notifications, 10 minutes before the event or anything like that. It's just for me to be in the habit continually of checking the calendar right after I have breakfast. All right. Now, if you have a journal and you want the calendar to be in there, or if you have a handheld daily planner, or if you actually have an old-fashioned calendar on the wall, I don't care. Whatever works for you. If you have an old-fashioned calendar on the wall, you better have a pencil hanging by it so that you can put in the dates. Whatever works, all right? Your job at the end is to be punctual and to don't forget appointments. That's always going to happen. In the course of the program, you're going to be late and you're going to forget some appointments. That's normal. There's a certain number of incidences where that happens, and it's just like we all go through that. Your mentors are going to forget appointments, okay? It just shouldn't be habitual, and it shouldn't be frequent. And as soon as you realize you've forgotten an appointment or something, then you communicate. You let someone know, sorry. So your job here is to realize, okay, what are the contact events that I'm supposed to do this term? If my mentor doesn't bring them to me, I've got to reach out and set them. But this needs to happen so that I can show that I'm attending, if you will. I'm working on this on a regular basis. Once you recognize what those are, you set up appointments with your mentor. They're going to help you do this, or you reach out to them. One way or another, those appointments need to be set up. Once they're set up, they get into the calendar, and then you get in the habit of checking the calendar once a day, every day, preferably in the morning, to see what's ahead. Peek to the next day to remind yourself of what's coming, and then try to be punctual and try to keep those appointments. All right. Again, remember, you'll get better and better at handling live conversation and video streams. You might not be comfortable with those right now, but comfort will come. I'm someone who has seen that happen in my own life. I'm someone that's very much involved now with phone calls and video calls and all sorts of communication events. And a couple years ago, I would much rather have not done that, but we grow.